All right. Looks like we're set up. All right. Can everyone hear me okay? All right. Looks like we're up and running. I'd like to welcome everyone to the official about anything Uber Eats. We'll also be covering this little incentive that Uber is talking about as far as undeliverable orders, but we'll wait until we get more people in the chat to bring that up. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Neo. Doing all right today? Yeah. So we'll give about 5 minutes before I jump into those topics. But shoot, while I'm waiting for more people to get in here, how's y'all's runs been going, Uber Eats wise? Tired, but okay. I know that feeling, but usually when you're tired, that means you're making some good progress towards something. So the magic word is persevere. Then eventually you're going to hit that goal that you're trying to hit. See, while we're waiting, let me just check to see, has everyone gotten what I'm talking about? So in y'all's Uber apps, I'm going to pull it up right now. Have y'all seen something like, is the glare too high? It's trying to come through. That's not going to work. But basically, it's talking about some new delivery incentive where some delivery requests are never accepted, meaning all the food goes undelivered. You may start seeing special delivery request incentives to deliver these unclaimed orders. Has anyone seen that notification in y'all's app? It's been here for me, guess about a week and some change. I think it's a pretty good idea. Apparently, there are orders that people aren't taking, so they just end up kind of floating around. And since they're floating around, they're trying to give us a little extra incentive to take those orders. Overall, I think it's a good idea. I didn't notice the camera's tilted. Okay. All right. Almost at 5 minutes, then we'll go into that topic. But shoot, in the chat, what do y'all think about that idea? Y'all think that's a good idea? Them adding a little extra something to incentivize us to take these deliveries that no one wants to see? I haven't seen it. If the distance is too far, wouldn't that be a waste? In some cases. Key thing about is it a waste or not? It depends on the restaurant. Like some restaurants can go far, and the farther they pull for the request, the farther it can go. So it can end up being worth it. But some restaurants is going around the corner. That's why you want to check part 3 of the Uber Eats course out, which covers the customer app, so you can find out, all right, what restaurants can go far, what restaurants can't. That way, if you're getting pulled to pick something up and you know it's a short term, you know to decline that. Yeah, I don't, as a general rule, I don't ever accept anything past 5 miles away. That's insanity. Unless they're gonna start paying us distance to the restaurant, but I don't think that's ever gonna happen. We got more people coming in. I'd like to welcome y'all. This is the official Ubereats Q A. The floor is open to ask any questions you have on Uber Eats. We'll also talk about later in the Q&A these extra undeliverable order incentives that Uber is thinking about implementing. As Uber talked about giving mileage for going to the restaurant to pick up, I know they only give mileage for drop off. As far as I know, they haven't talked about anything like that. I doubt they'll ever do that. Because none of the delivery companies ever do that. Except, no, none of them ever do that. I guess there are some that they pay a flat fee, but those companies aren't worth it in my opinion, so no. I will say this, if you're tracking your mileage, you can write off the mileage going to the restaurant. Now, I'm not a tax advisor or any legal professional, so be sure to consult with one. But generally speaking, as long as you're tracking those miles, you can write them off at the end of the year. So be sure to keep track of those miles. But as far as them paying for it, nah. What they do in the future, I don't see it. But if they did, I mean, I guess that would be a bonus. Let's see. All right, it's past 5 minutes. So everyone in the chat, have y'all gotten that notification about this undeliverable order incentive? Like basically, there are orders that go out and no one claims them for whatever reason, so they end up being undelivered according to Uber, and they're gonna start kicking in some extra incentives for you to pick this up, like this is an undeliverable order, extra $1.50 to it, or something like that. I haven't seen anything about that so far, but the concept seems pretty appealing. Haven't seen it? Okay. Yes, I got it, but I haven't seen any incentives. Okay. Because I actually did reach out to support and I asked them to give further clarity. What incentives are these and how is it going to affect us? I'm going to pull up my conversation with support so y'all can see how that turned out. Let's see. So when I asked that question, this is what support said. I know, yeah, the glare is just too much. You can't see it. I'll just read it. Thanks for responding. Please be informed that if a trip is undelivered, the status of the order will reflect once the undelivered order is dispatched to you. So that means before you accept it, there should be some kind of notification showing undelivered order. And that's always good. On the other hand, we don't have any updates yet with regards to the promotion that you're referring to. No worries, once we get some updates and once you qualify for the set promotion, you will be notified right away. What that tells me is they have this thing set up or they're working on it, but it hasn't rolled out yet. Like I said, I think it's a good idea, but I can think of a cheaper thing that they could do probably to even the equation. Why don't they just start showing what restaurant we're going to? Now, if you follow the Ubereats course, I show you how to figure out the restaurant kind of indirectly. You can look at the address or you can recognize the map, but what if they just said Golden Chick or Jack in the Box or whatever it is? I think that might help with people accepting them. Because if you don't know how to identify the restaurant, it feels like you're walking into something unknown. And what if you don't have time to do it? You got to pick up your son from school in 45 minutes. You'd like to slide a real quick delivery in, but you don't. It might take you on the other side of the planet, which normally you wouldn't mind, but you really need to stay in the area. So they would just start showing like more information. I think that would probably solve the problem versus adding this little money incentive. What do you guys think? But would y'all rather have the extra money incentive, or would you rather be able to see where y'all are going and where you're dropping off? I've seen it also. Okay. That's confirmation that it's hitting select markets. Because some of y'all are telling me y'all see it, and some of y'all are saying that y'all don't. If I had to pick, I'd go with the money. Okay, I can respect that. Yeah, For me, I think it depends on how deep the bag is. How big? What is this incentive they're talking about? I really want to know. We're talking about like an extra $2 or extra 50 cents. Because if it's 50 cents, I could probably care less. Extra money is good, but I would love to be able to see the restaurant and how far out it is. Okay. Yeah. Uh, like with me, it really depends on what that incentive is. If it's over $1.50, I'll take the money. If not, I think the better move is just to show all the information. I mean, the restaurant, you can figure it out through your experience. But the drop-off location, now you can figure out the distance through experience too. But the exact drop-off location, like direction, that's a mystery. And like I said, what if you need to stay in the immediate area? So and it's like a gamble, and requests are coming in, but you're not getting one that you know is going to be guaranteed short, like McDonald's or something. I mean, yeah, I would just say if it's more than $1.50, I'll take the money, but anything less, would I rather. Oh, yeah, disappear for a sec. I think it would be cool if it showed the incentive amount when the request comes through, and each driver that declines it gets larger for the next since it goes out to further drivers. Oh, wow. Okay, Cynthia, you should submit that to Uber. I'm hashtag for that. Hashtag, what's hashtag pay incentive momentum or something. It just gets more and more as more drivers decline it because it's undelivered. So it should be a bigger priority, right? Plus, if people aren't accepting it, it denotes that there's some kind of red tape, so to speak. Is it in some huge event where you got to park a mile away and go through a crowd, and then you get there, and then you have to, if you have to go through a lot of crap for it, it just denotes that there's something harder about that delivery. People aren't taking it, so you should be paid more. Hashtag incentive pile up. Yeah, there we go. Hashtag incentive pile up. I can rock with that. But yeah, I think that's a good idea because people are avoiding it for a reason. Maybe they don't think the money is worth the effort. So if you increase that money amount more and more, eventually, like someone's gonna take it. If you see like undeliverable order, $7 incentive next to it, obviously in addition to whatever you're gonna be paid, yeah, I would probably jump on it, even though we don't know the circumstances. But like for me, I always say you should never on this delivery thing ever drop below $12 an hour. That's the issue. We got to reevaluate like what's going on. $10 or $20 on that one delivery. So regardless of the effort you got to go through, you'll still be hitting that bottom line you're trying to hit. So yeah, I wouldn't mind taking it. Hopefully they do come out with something soon because right now I've seen it in the app for about a week and a half. If they're gonna do something, they should do it pretty soon. Like the people have seen this incentive thing in the app. Has it been there like for a good while, or has it been like like me, maybe a week and a half? Speaking of pickups, how was y'all's? I don't know if y'all did it on that day. I filled out a request in the app from Uber about a possible roundtable to discuss the app and such with Uber directly in San Francisco. Did you get that? Yes, I did. It was a while ago, but I did fill out that application, and if I remember right, they had a few, but I filled out one for August. So if we'll see if one of us gets selected. Well, let me ask you this: what is the biggest change you want to make to the Uber app? I mean, like when you talk to this, let's say you're selected, they fly you out to San Francisco. What would be the if you could just pick one thing? What would be that one thing you would change about the Uber app? Because I'll be honest, if I get in that round table, we gon' we gonna have a pretty good time. Because I got there's some things they could do to make it easier for the carrier and for the drivers for Ubereats too. That wouldn't cost them any money. I would love to pitch that to them. Speaking of which, how was y'all's McDonald's day? I'm sure everyone got that in the app if you're driving that day. Hmm. It's hard to pick just one. Oh, I hear you, Cynthia. I mean, there's definitely a few things that can be changed. If I had to pick one, I'll stick this to Uber Eats Q A. So I'll bring my one for Uber Eats. But I said this in my interview with a Uber dude. I would actually change the Uber Eats customer app and have it so that when a customer orders, they cannot proceed with their order until they put certain information in. Like they're in an apartment, you got to put the apartment number, the name of the apartment, and the gate code, and it has a separate section for each one of them. And if you try and move on without putting anything in those boxes, it stops you. Like you can't proceed until you put something in there. Even if you stay in a house, you got to put like not applicable or NA in those boxes. That would not cost them hardly any money, and it would be a huge help to us carriers. Can they fix the wrong address problem? That's an interesting scenario. You got to know how to handle it, and it shouldn't be that way. Like I get, they do everything they can. I'm gonna pull up the customer app and taking a sec to pop up. But for instance, it's gonna say, "Is this the right address?" I know it's in reverse, but it's asking, "Is that the correct address?" And a person can still proceed with the order, even though the phone location is detecting they're somewhere else. Maybe just a confirmation screen that this is the address before you move forward. Because I've had people, they moved and then they forgot to put the address in. Now, when that happens, you want to make sure you're paid the full amount, unless you're driving less. But if you're driving more, if the customer contacts you saying, "Hey, I put the wrong address in" or whatever, and it's over the phone, tell them to text it to you. Like I asked, "Sir, ma'am, can you text me that address?" They'll do it. You have proof that they're telling you to send it to another address. When the order ends, you go just like you would do the wait time fee. You say you have an issue with this fare, and say that the customer requested to take this to a different address and put the address in. They're gonna check the messages. They're gonna have proof of it. They're gonna pay you the distance between the original drop off point and this new address. So you'll get compensated for it. But you have to handle it that way. If you don't, you just won't get paid for it. But if they can fix it all together, I'm all for it. Yes, gate code. Some people never put gate code. I've seen people in gated communities who don't put a gate code. Some it's stuff like that. It would cost Uber nothing to modify that customer app just so that you have to put something there or you can't proceed. Everyone's happy. Customer gets their food faster. We get to move on to our next order faster. And Uber Eats has another driver on the road faster. It wins for everyone. See, I've called customer care when that happens, and they reimburse me for it. Yeah, that's another way to handle it. It may take a little longer because when you call the customer support, Usually they have to call and verify some things, but they will take care of the issue. I'd also like when I click order not ready that the customer is notified the driver is waiting for the order. Oh, that's pretty innovative. Um, yeah, you know what? I think that should be maybe one of the, if you get selected for that roundtable, that could be some feedback that you give them. Like that one thing that I asked you with Cynthia, that's a good idea to throw it on. It doesn't notify them when we press that button, but it does kind of notify the customer when the order has been dispatched. There's a green line, and it shows the progress of the order until you pick it up. Like when it's 1/4, then that means the order is getting ready. When it's about halfway, that means the order is ready, and dispatch for a driver has come into play. And then it'll disappear completely, and then show the driver who's picking it up and how far away, and the map will pop up. But that's not enough. I mean, just when you press that order not ready button, if a notification clicks on the customer's end, hey, your driver is there, they're waiting. Yeah, that's a good idea. But shoot, if Uber's watching this Q&A, maybe they'll take some of this feedback in consideration, because a lot of stuff we're talking about is relatively cheap to implement. It's not like they would have to completely design the app to make some of this stuff happen. Let's see. No, what that actually leans into the second topic I was going to bring up in this Q&A, and that's the Uber Eats customer support. A lot of drivers don't take advantage of the fact that we have that. I had a restaurant click order ready when they were still working on the order right in front of me. Neo, let me ask you a question. Was that order McDonald's? Because that happens all the time with them. That's part of the reason that they're on Elijah's not go to list most of the time. You get there and they start making it. That's a problem, especially when you know it's not going to go that far. Like in which one? Cedar Park 4 or 5, but the Uber Eats driver course, it mentions that you got to give a restaurant a number in terms of how fast they're getting the food ready. And if it's past 5 minutes, that's when you got to start considering, do you really want to go there? Know how I know, but I have noticed that McDonald's isn't ready. So here's a gold nugget, y'all. When you go to McDonald's, a minute or two before you get there, just click order not ready. But all it does when you click order not ready, it shows on their screen that their delivery partner has arrived. So if you press it 2 minutes before you get there, there's a chance someone's going to see that screen and they're going to think that you're one of the several people waiting. They're going to start getting it ready before you're even there. Yeah, that tactic, I know it seems like it's not that big a deal, but it makes a big difference, trust me. Especially with these with McDonald's. But if a restaurant is literally getting it ready when you get there, you can try that for any of those restaurants. But a lot of times that will help with the problem. Now, if it doesn't, when the ping comes for that restaurant, you might want to think about just letting it slide or saying no thanks. If you're waiting more than 5 minutes, if they can start getting it ready when you get there, but they still manage to, because us as delivery partners, we shouldn't be waiting. We really shouldn't. We're there just to swoop up, pick up the food, bam. That's why we don't place the order or anything. It's instant pickup. That's why food-wise, I rock with Uber Eats. That actually does go forward into my next thing I was going to talk to y'all about. The Uber customer support. It's very underutilized by delivery partners. I'm going to give y'all a few scenarios, and I'll make proper videos of these later, but just rock with me for a minute. The Uber Eats customer support, it's meant to keep Uber Eats simple for us. Like a lot of times issues will pop up that will make things more complicated than they need to be, and it puts more responsibility on you. Case in point, yesterday I was at a pizza restaurant and they were out of Reese's Pieces or something, and she asked, I need you to call the customer and ask them what else they want in place because we're out of that. I told her, man, we can't contact the customer until we officially start the trip. And I told her I could call customer support and they can call the customer and then call you and ask them, the details. And she had a snobby attitude about it. I didn't really care because you got to think of it like this: the moment you press start trip, you're committed to taking that food to the customer. If you don't start trip at any point, you can cancel and go ahead and get another delivery. At any point, if it's not convenient or it's not making sense, cancel. But more importantly, we don't take the responsibility of placing the order. It keeps things simple. But if I had called the customer and then there's an issue or something, guess what? I'm partially blamed because I took place in the ordering process now, which means I'm probably going to get a thumbs down. But if I have customer support handle it, regardless of what goes on that forward, regardless of what goes on from that point, they just see me as the person to pick the food up. I didn't bear any responsibility in making the order, and it needs to stay that way. It's these little subtle things that keep your satisfaction rating high. Like mine right now, let me pull it up real quick. Let's see. Like right now, it's at 99%, and it was at 100 until the issue I told y'all about last Q and A came up, and I told you how to handle it. What is the number to customer service? Good question. In the Uber app, this is when you're on a trip. You click the bars at the top right hand corner, just like you're going to contact the customer or contact the restaurant. You press contact. At the bottom, it says contact customer support, and that's where you'll get the number from. I don't know if they have like a line across all of America or if it's like locally based. So the number may be different. Yeah, that's why I won't give the number like right here because it could be different. But that's how you find out what the customer service number is because it'll put the data in your phone and then you can call them from that point. I actually should have the number saved in my phone, but I don't. But yeah, that's how you find the customer service number. See, you can also do that anytime you get to a restaurant and it doesn't. You get to a restaurant and for whatever reason the order doesn't go, someone picked it up or like there's some glitch or something. You can call customer service and they'll reimburse you for you going there. They'll pay you the pickup fee. Now it's not much, but it's something. I have it saved in my phone. Everyone do a Neo saying. I mean, truth be told, I should have it saved in my phone too. Um, I just straight up forgot. I keep saying I'm going to do it and it doesn't happen. Take Neo's advice. Save it in your phone. Okay. So does anyone have any questions about Uber customer support or that incentive that we talked about a few minutes ago? All right. If not, then you only use Uber Eats. Are you asking, Isaiah, are you asking, like, do I only drive for Uber Eats? Is that what you're asking? Incentive? Okay, Rashad, we covered in some markets, Uber Eats is running this promotion, or not promotion, incentive where there are orders that the ping has been going out for a long time. have been marked as undelivered. So they're trying to come up with something so that they want to incentivize us to pick those orders up. So they want to add something a little extra to these deliveries, like this is an undelivered order. It's $1.50 more in addition to whatever you're getting paid. Now, I don't know how much money they're actually going to offer for these incentives. We just know based on me talking to customer support that they're going to notify you when this order pops up that it's undelivered, and there will be an incentive to pick it up. You focus on Uber Eats all day, or do you use a few apps at the same time? I just do Uber Eats and Ubereats. For the past 3 months, 3 months, I've been doing nothing but Uber Eats because I wanted to get the data for the Uber Eats course. But now that the course is finished, in terms of me recording, part 7 is still coming out soon, y'all. But in terms of recording, Uber Eats is finished, so I'm gonna go back to doing some UberX too. But no, I don't I don't get on like Uber Eats and Postmates and Caviar and Favor, Amazon, DoorDash, like none of that. I have Uber Eats and UberX. I have Lyft as a backup for UberX, and Postmates is a backup for Uber Eats. Okay, I saw that. Yeah, Ratchet that. Like, if you have any questions about it, like, feel free to ask. But we did go into some detail about it towards the beginning of the Q&A, so you could listen to that when in playback after this is recorded and goes live. But if you do have any questions about it, the floor is open to ask any questions. Uber canceled the delivery because it was going to be too long of a wait for the customer, complications with a hostess who gave the food away. So I don't know what would qualify undelivered. I think undelivered, it just means that it's not going to meet that time guarantee on the customer's end. Like on the Uber Eats customer app, it has like guaranteed between 30 and 45 minutes. And if the ping is still going and it's been 45 minutes or more, I think from there it will be marked as undelivered because Uber didn't hold up their end of the bargain that it's going to be guaranteed between this time frame. So since this past that time frame, they're trying to incentivize us drivers like, hey, we've already kind of screwed up this delivery. It's out of the time frame. We'll give you a little something extra just to go pick it up. I think that's what they mean by undelivered. They should probably word that something else, like just call it a late delivery. I think that would be more appropriate. But an undeliverable or undelivered, I don't know why they call that. Okay, you helped me a lot, bro, with Uber Eats. You have the best content out, in my opinion. It's much appreciated, Isaiah. And one thing, and I give this advice to everyone. I said this in the last Q&A too, but with these apps, you really should just focus on one app and milk all the money out of that app. Like so many people run like five's a little much. They run like 3 or 4, maybe 2 apps at the same time. And you don't notice the patterns of each app. The reason I can tell you, I know that this restaurant can go far, and I know what time, where it might go, what time it's popping, where I need to set up shop hotspot wise to get a request from that restaurant. I can tell you all this because I've done Uber Eats for just Uber Eats for like a year. Well, exclusively Uber Eats for a few months. But when it comes to delivery, just Uber Eats for almost a year. When you focus on that, you notice these patterns, and then you can start capitalizing off of them. You get on all of these apps, it's literally going to all seem the same. You're not going to notice these patterns. Now, I do recommend that you have a backup. I have Postmates as a backup if the Uber app was to crash. Because, it's technology. They're not exempt from crashing. But in terms of switching a whole bunch of apps, I don't recommend that. Plus, you want to get the money from these apps and then go ahead and move on with your life. You're on these apps for a reason. You need the money or you want extra money. But when you get on a whole bunch of them, it's kind of like you're cementing your presence in the app world. And it's supposed to be get you from point A to point B. not supposed to make a career out of these apps. So when you get on a whole bunch of them, it's kind of cementing your presence in the app world. You don't want to do that. I do DoorDash and Ubereats, and believe me, it's tricky. Only really works for slow days. If you don't care about your rating for either one, then you can make both apps work. I mean, Neo does have a point. If it's slow, I do use an app called Maestro. And let's say for whatever reason I'm not doing UberX, just doing delivery. The app Maestro has it so that, and there'll be a video coming on this too. But Uber Eats will be in play, and if I don't get a ping in 5 minutes, the app will click Postmates on for me. And whichever one comes first, it'll turn the other app off. And then once the delivery is over with, you'll turn both of them back on. You gotta do what you gotta do for slow days. Now, I will say this: you want to master your market's hotspots and figure out different hotspots. I covered that in part 3 of the Uber Eats training, because it may be slow, but it also may be you're just not in the right place. Because I know with the other apps, their algorithm for dispatching drivers is kind of random, versus Uber Eats follows a pattern. If you get that pattern, like I'll show you in the Uber Eats course, you know where to go at any time of the day to get a ping. Like an example, in my market, this is universal because the hot spots, the hot times to drive with these delivery, lunchtime and dinner time. But between like 2 and 5, well, 2 and 4 is real slow because no one is necessarily ordering as much. But a lot of people know that they'll get offline like, oh well, I know it's about to die, so let me go ahead and get off at 2 o'clock. That'll leave like a deficiency in certain places in your market where there's not enough drivers, so pings will be coming. But they're like little pockets of them in the city. So you got to know where they are by following that pattern in the Uber Eats course. Then okay, it's 2 o'clock, it's about to get slow. I need to go over here if I want to keep doing it. How far do you drive for a restaurant? If it's more than 3 miles, do you go? Or do you only go 2 miles at the most? With me, I won't go farther than 5 miles. Now, the reason being, if you cut yourself off at 3 or 2 miles, yeah, the restaurants will be closer, and you may overall drive less mileage, but you may not get the longer request that you want. Now, I want the long request. Some people don't. I do. Because the long requests are going to pay more money. So the way the Uber Eats algorithm works, if a request is going like 8 miles, the ping is going to start at a certain point, but the more people decline it, the radius from where it's going to pull drivers gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So let's say you get a ping and it's 4 miles away. Then you get there, pick it up, and then when you slide start trip, it's no surprise that it's going like 8 or 9 miles. It's because that's why they were pulling people so far, because it's going far. I know that's a little weird why they set it up that way, but that's the reason why I have it set at 5 miles. Now, past 5 miles, I don't care what kind of order it is. That's stupid. It's not worth it. I'm not going to do that, because chances are if it's more than 5 miles away, that's going to be the only delivery you get in that hour. So let's say if it does pay $9, $10, or $11 for that one delivery, well, that one delivery is all you got for that hour. So you're at $11 an hour. Me first. Another thing about the mileage, if you're close to an area with a lot of highways, the mileage will become a little less apparent, because no matter where you are, a lot of restaurants are going to be more than like 2 or 3 miles. Now, if you're at an area where it's not a whole bunch of highways, then it does matter a little more. Perfect. Yeah. If I had to give like a number one advice to new drivers, I would definitely say that's it. Like, don't go past 5 miles, and that's why I love Waze so much. And Neo said Waze. You mentioned that. Yeah, because Waze will tell you like the mileage going to and going from. Like a lot of times, if I'm going to a restaurant where I get a ping and accept it, I'll click the navigate button. Waze pops up and it tells me 5 miles away, 3 miles away, whatever. It's just like right there on the spot. If it's more than 5 miles, yeah, I'll just cancel it. But you can kind of tell when the map pops up if it's more than 5 miles too. Like if it's down this long stretch of highway, you probably already know it's 5 miles, so you're not gonna take it. All right. So the floor is open for like any questions now. They don't have to be related to that incentive or the Uber Eats customer support. Just any questions y'all have about Uber Eats in general. I'm doing Uber Eats right now. You're taking advantage of delivering food. I'll talk about this in part 7 of the Uber Eats course, but it's just you and the food in the car. So you're free to do anything you want. You can jam to your music. You can be on a YouTube live stream like right now. You complete the quest every week. With quests, it depends on if they're offering them. In my area, they don't offer them nearly as much, but we have pretty consistent and higher boost though. Like during the week, there are zones that are always 1.3 and always 1.4 versus quests in my area. They usually only pop up like if there's some extreme weather condition. Is it raining? Like a lot of times, if rain is in the forecast, like Uber will try and get ahead of it, and just the night before they'll say, "Hey, we have a quest going on for tomorrow, for lunchtime, for tomorrow dinner time, etc." So when that happens, yeah, I'll definitely aim to hit that quest. Have they had any quests lately? I haven't seen any in quests in a while. Uh, yeah, I'm with Neo. If they throw quests out, just debate. They really do debate all the drivers to get out there because they know during that time frame it's going to be deficient. And we're in the what they call the summer slowdown right now. Not for food, but for rideshare. Like for UberX, it is slower. Like this is the slowest part of the year, with the exception of like in the beginning in January. But this is the second slowest part of the year. So drivers that are dual platformers like me, who do UberX and Uber Eats, they're expecting us to pick up the slack. So if they know that since they're slower on UberX, more people will say, you know what, to make up for the lack of UberX activity, I'll click deliveries on. So right now they don't see a reason to put any quests out. Now once it starts getting busy on UberX again around the middle of August, September, etc., you'll probably see a return of those quests to bait more drivers come out. Because that's when the Uber Eats only fleet is going to become more valuable. Because when the baseball season kicks off, football season kicks off, business conferences start taking off more, UberX is going to be busy, and people aren't going to want to deliver food, making between 12 to $18 an hour when they can make like between 21 and $26 an hour, doing UberX, taking people to these ball games and the surge and everything. So the Quest will probably return once they can't rely on the dual platformer so much. But yeah, it's not surprising you haven't seen that many quests lately. That's the reason why. And me and a few drivers have talked about this before. We don't think that's a good idea because when UberX gets busy, if they don't have the Uber Eats only fleet to fall back on, here's where you get into stuff talking about, hey, this order is undelivered. We'll give you extra something to deliver it. Well, if you value your Uber Eats only fleet uh, all year long, maybe you wouldn't get scenarios like that. They're putting too much emphasis on the dual platformers. It's just my opinion, but my opinion is kind of showing to be kind of true. My quest is usually 30 for 70 and 55 for 130. Wow. Isaiah, what market are you in? Because usually quests like that, they're in like huge markets. Like the quests I usually get, there'll be something like for $17, do 5 or 6 trips in a certain time frame, lunch or dinner time. But if you manage to squeeze like 10 trips in, it's $25 or $30. Los Angeles, yeah, that matches up. Yeah, Los Angeles is one of the biggest markets for delivery and rideshare. The quests that they offer in the boost zones, like in the Los Angeles, it wouldn't be that surprising to see like an Uber Eats boost zone that's like two, and a quest that have such a they're so much bigger. Like I imagine the quest that you're getting is like a weekend quest, right? Like do this many trips over the weekend and you get it versus like just do it during these like certain hours. Am I right, Isaiah? Eats aren't included in boosts in my area mostly. Yeah, it now when you say your area, do you mean like your immediate city or your market? Like if you expand your map, are there no boosts anywhere like in your market? Yep, weekend and for regular week. Yeah, like for that makes sense from Los Angeles because it's such a huge market versus they're gonna give quests and boosts. A lot of that also depends on the standard of living in your city. Like Los Angeles is pretty freaking expensive, so they can't offer you no chunk change. That's not gonna work. Versus Dallas, for me, the Dallas market, the standard of living in Texas is cheaper than in a lot of states. So they're not going to offer as much money or quest, to us because our standard of living isn't so much. When you look at it like that, some people, if they have a friend, let's say in Los Angeles, and they set up shop with them for like a month or two, but they live in Texas, and they'll break their friend off a little something. Say, look, let me stack my bread over here. Let me get all this money over here, then I'll go back home. They could probably make some serious money. So your market is Philly. You know what? If I remember right, I think Uber Eats recently expanded into Philadelphia. So when they first expand, they may not deem it necessary to add boosts until the customer demand equals the demand for drivers. Right now, the customer demand might not justify a boost on their end. So that would make sense. But you gotta look at it like this too. If you're making a certain amount per mile, you may not need a boost. Like there's some markets like Uber Eats will pay like $1.25 per mile. So are they getting boosts? No. Are they getting quests? Maybe not. But they don't really need them either. You're getting paid $1.25 per mile. I mean, who cares about a boost or a quest? 49 minutes. All right, we'll hang around for a full hour, then we'll call it quits. Makes sense. Yeah. Uh, I don't know what they use to calculate the per mileage. I don't know what they use to do all this math. But just in concept, I'm seeing why they have it set up that way. Because boost, all it is it's just the extra percentage on top of that per mile. So you have your whatever you're getting paid per mile, and 1.1 means that they're going to add 10% to that. 1.2 is 20%. 1.3 is 30%. 1.5 is 50%. Etc. If I had to pick between the two, I'd pick the just having a certain amount that's a lot per mile. Because all the boost is doing is like take someone who's making $1.10 per mile in their market. and take someone who has boosts and quests, but they're not making $1.10. But with the boost, they be making about $1.10. All it's doing is focusing all that in one certain area of the city, which has the most, market share from the customer end. Is it true that if you do both UberX and Uber Eats, but you are only online when delivery is checked, it does not show you the surge pricing for Uber Eats, but it does show the surge pricing for UberX? That does not make sense to me. Uh, yeah, it pretty much goes like this. For the what you're referring to, I call them dual platformers. Like I'm a dual platformer because I drive UberX and Uber Eats. So our app is set up to show a surge on UberX, but we don't see like any kind of activity for Uber Eats. Like on the Uber Eats only app, they're not a separate app. If your account is just Uber Eats only, you know how it shows like these little spots of activity that show you like, hey, if you go here, you'll have a higher chance of getting a request. We don't see any of that. So I know it doesn't make complete sense, but I guess it comes with a trade-off because if it's surging on UberX, that says 1.8, but a delivery request comes in, we will get the surge, even though it's a delivery. So I'm not sure why they have it set up that way, but they do. I will say I said that in the last Q&A, so I won't say it again here unless someone asks this. But that's how they. That's the difference between the dual platformers and the Uber Eats only. Well, one of the main differences. Now that I think about it, that's part of the reason that gave birth to the part three of the Uber Eats course, how to identify hotspots. Because as a dual platformer, I couldn't see them. I still can't see them. So you would have to figure out where to go in order to get a ping. Versus on the Uber Eats only, it does show that activity. Now you still need to figure out the science and knowing where to go, but it'll still show you like, hey, you know what, east, wherever the east portion of the city has activity, or the west portion has activity, or south, whatever, it'll still show that. All right, we're getting down to the last 7 minutes. How about do y'all have any future videos y'all want me to make for Uber Eats? Like, is there a video or a concept that y'all been thinking like, hey, I wish Elijah would make a video on this, like breaking this down or covering this, etc. Y'all have any of those type of videos y'all wanna see come out? Because in about a few days, MacBook will have arrived, and I'll be back to making consistent videos like before. And like I said before, the first thing coming out is going to be part 7 of the Uber Eats course. Have you done a pay period comparison with Uber Eats and UberX? Hey, you mean have I ever done it before? Like you want to see like a video? Have I done it before? Not like literally here and here, but I have a pretty mental idea. Because after each day, I'll take all the hours I quote unquote worked and divide what I made by how many hours. So I would say in my market, you can make more consistent money with Uber Eats, I guess. But during the popping seasons of UberX, you'll make a lot more. But you gotta know what you're doing. Like with UberX, if I want to make a lot of money, I drive the bar rushes. I'll drive doing sporting events. I have this tactic where I'll go on Facebook and just click on interested at all the events that my friends are interested in. I'll just click interested. Now that could be something I don't care about. Yeah, a country singer could be going to perform somewhere, I hate country music. I'm clicking interested because Facebook is going to remind me, hey, this event is coming up, and I know where to go in order to get this money for UberX. And my Waze of navigation will remind me too, since I have Facebook and Waze Sync. My friend does not have Boost. Why? And Neo, you want a video? Yeah, yeah, that's definitely something I could rate. So a comparison between UberX and Ubereats. Yeah, we could do that. Maria, you say your friend doesn't have Boost. Do you the thing with Boost is it all depends on the balance. So Boosts come out when in a certain area of the city, the drivers and the people who are ordering, the customers, more customers ordering than drivers in that portion of the city. So they have to do something to get the drivers over there. Hence, they'll throw a zone around and then call it a boost. So that's what brings about the need for a boost. If there's no need for that, if they're balanced, or if there's more drivers than customers ordering, there's no need for a boost in Uber's eyes. How often you're going to do these streams? You know what? I was gonna ask that here. Do y'all it seems like y'all really are enjoying these Q&A streams on Uber Eats. Do y'all want me to do something like this on a monthly basis? Like maybe the first Sunday of every month or so, or what do y'all think about that? It's not an option on her app. Like Maria, when you say it's not an option, what do you mean? Because the only way, like by option, do you mean like on her map there's no boost like nowhere? Is that what you mean? Isaiah wants some weekly. Unfortunately, I can't commit to a weekly, but I could probably definitely do some monthly. Okay, Maria says, oh, so that's the case. Yes. Um, that's basically what it is. In her market or her area, there's no need for a boost. Like the fleet and people taking deliveries, like everything is balanced. So there's no need to throw an incentive for drivers to go to a certain area. Um, with the boost, I would tell your friend to look at how much she's making on every trip. Not every trip, but like what is her per mile basis? Because a lot of markets they don't need boost requests because their per mileage rate is already some decent money. Hey, it looks like everyone is all for once a month. So yeah, we can set it up so that streams like this kick off the first Sunday of every month. What do y'all think about that? She has never gotten boost, so she stopped doing it. I am in the same market. Oh wait. Okay, Maria, are you a dual platformer? Like, do you drive UberX and Uber Eats? Is that how your account's set up, or do you just drive Uber Eats? Like, do both of y'all have that same account? Or do both of y'all have like a dual platform, or both of y'all have like Uber Eats? Like, let's start off with: do you drive for Uber Eats and UberX? Okay, you're Eats only. Is your friend UberX and Uber Eats? She is dual. That's the reason. Now, as a dual platformer, I can tell you, UberX and Uber Eats, they have to offer me boost and quest for UberX and Uber Eats if necessary. But UberX is secondary based on my account. Now, you're a Uber Eats only. They have to offer you the same boost and quest from a budget wise because every driver has their own budget in the Uber's mind. Like they can only spend a certain amount of money on you. So in her market, UberX must be more on the value than Uber Eats. That's why she's not getting offered any boost. But you're Eats only, so that same amount of money they have to spend on you, but they can't go above that. That's why you have boost. Like oftentimes, like I'll have a boost deliveries only for 1.3, 1.4. My friend Travis, he's a Uber Eats only. He'll have like boost for like 1.7, 1.5. Most of the time, the boosts for Uber Eats only are going to be higher, or they're going to have boosts. Versus the dual platformers, that might not be the case. Let's see. Do you have a regular job too, or only use the apps? Neither, Isaiah. My main profession, I'm actually in the sales field. I market organic products, so herbal teas, supplements, that kind of thing. Been a vegan for about 6.5 years. I also assist people in making dietary changes. That's my main profession. Now, I do use these apps to make some pretty decent money, but it's not my main profession. UberX is delayed here until the end of 2019. So we get Uber Eats boost of 2.0 for big chunks of the day. You know what, Chris? What he said just summed it up. Now, I don't know why your market's on hold UberX wise until 2019. I remember you said a little while back that it wasn't in your area yet. So I'm guessing that's when they'll be coming to your area. But yeah, that would make sense. Oh, wow. Thank you. No problem, Maria. Runs the taxis here, and Hell's Angels runs the taxis here, and the government is in bed with them. Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure you don't mind that, right? I'll say the first Sunday of every month should work smooth. As far as when y'all saw that reminder, the Q&A is going on, it looks like that worked pretty smooth. So I'm going to do that going forward, and I want to. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, and hope y'all have a good day, have a good week, and stay on getting that money. And be looking for the second part of the Uber Eats course, not second part, the seventh part of the Uber Eats course, because that should be coming out real soon. Right? Appreciate y'all watching. Look forward to chatting with y'all next time. Peace out.